there! Welcome back to my channel. You may call me Miss Introvert, and today we're going to talk about imagery. I am seeing a lot of questions about this in writing groups that I'm a part of in terms of describing characters or making up descriptions for sceneries, some that don't even exist in this world. So I'll be talking about those things in general. Character descriptions and scenery descriptions, and then descriptions of things that don't exist. If you would like me to touch on anything else or if there's anything I missed, all advice is welcome. So comment down below. I'm still a new writer and I would love to hear even more tips about description and imagery from you guys. Also, I'd like to give you guys a quick thank you for all of your encouragement and support. We just hit 200 subscribers and that would not have been possible without your guys' help. So thank you, introverted writing community. I love you guys so much, and now on to the video. Before we begin, make sure to like this video and share it with your friends and fellow writers to help grow our introverted writing community. If you like the content on my channel, make sure you subscribe and become part of the introverted writing community, especially if you're a new writer. I talk about writing tips for beginners every Tuesday, and I also touch on some things for students. I also have a few introvert and fangirl rants, which you can take part in the comments section, which is mostly full of crickets, but there's plenty of room for introverts or fans. Now, without further ado, let's begin. Number 1, describing characters. So you've got a rough, or maybe you have an entire character description in your head. You know what they look like, maybe they share the appearance of someone you know, maybe you've been inspired by a celebrity or an actor that you could really see playing this role. Netflix, hit me up. Then you sit down to write and nothing. Nothing is appearing on your screen. I know, it sucks. You're not in the right mood and everything is terrible because you know these things, but they're just not there anymore. It's like when you forget what you were going to say in a conversation. It's embarrassing and it's frustrating. Well, here are some things that have helped me describe my characters, and I have a few other videos that relate to this subject, so feel free to check them out. I've linked them in the description. Write down the details of your character. Make lists of their physical appearance. What color eyes do they have? What is their hair color? What's their skin color? What's their clothing preference? Do they like memeable shirts? Is there something important or not so important in their pocket? What are ways they express themselves? How do they look when they're confused? Happy? Angry? Write everything down. There are also character lists that you can use that are either on Pinterest or other websites that are just dedicated to character lists, going into even more detail about their personality, their backstory, their style, etc. Definitely utilize those if you're having trouble. It's also very fun and very time-consuming. Once you have those written down, you want to find a way to describe those characters in your book. You know, the descriptions that have similes. Her hair was curled like black licorice. Metaphors. His eyes were sparkling sapphires. Something that pulls the reader in, out of their reality, and helps them see the character. One way you can do this is to start just free writing about your character and what you see in them. And after a while, you'll find some really great sentences to pull into your character description. You can also go for a walk, go for a drive, and get inspiration anywhere really for a specific description. Or even look at pictures of the things you're trying to describe. You can look at certain hairstyles you want your character to have. What is that hairstyle saying to you? Look at close-ups of eyes and imagine those are your character's eyes. Organize an outfit for them and mention the scuffs on their boots or the tears in their jeans, the silk of their gloves or the prickled feathers in their hats. Also read poetry. Poetry is full of literary elements that you can totally use to pull your reader in. Comment down below if you want me to make a video on literary elements. They also give some flair and meaning to whatever you're trying to describe, although you don't want to go into too much detail when describing your character, because it might throw off the balance of the pacing that you want for a specific time. So if you're introducing a character in a time of like fast pacing, then you're gonna wanna be quick about it, you know? And then if you wanna introduce a character in a more slower setting or like a slower pace, then go all out. Just not too much or else your reader might get bored. You definitely just want enough description so that you're not just introducing stick figures. Number 2, scenery descriptions. For this set of descriptions, and for really any other type of description, you're going to want to get used to the expression of the 5 senses. Sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. All the show don't tell kind of things. Sight is the most complicated one because that's mostly what you're going to be describing, and you want to be able to pull your reader into that. But for now, get used to these questions and try to answer them as you're writing your story and describing everything you want your reader to see, hear, smell, taste, feel, all that good stuff. What do you want your readers to hear? Are there murmuring crowds? Babbling brooks? Trembling leaves in the brisk wind? What do you want your readers to taste? What is your character eating? Is it spicy, sweet? Is it something your characters can present to the judges in the Great British Bake Off? Do they wake up with a bad taste in their mouth? Is there something strange in a liquid that turns them into a giant cockroach? What does your reader need to smell? Is there a lovely scent coming from the oven? Is your character sitting in a garden that's covered in soil and green? Is there fertilizer? Or did your character mistake that for something else? Or is it them? What does your character feel? Are their clothes itchy? Is there a tickle in their nose? Are they petting a puppy? All good things to consider. As for sight, there are going to be a plethora of things to describe. Waterfalls scattering down mountains, doves flapping their snowy wings across the sky, beautiful dresses sliding across a tiled floor that reflects a glorious chandelier of crystals and flickering candles. These are all beautiful descriptions that I'm describing, and oh, which one? The last one? Oh, that's Crom. He's my husband. Yeah, I don't know why he's there. He is dreamy, though. Describing scenes can be tough, though, but looking for inspiration is always a great alternative if you're stuck. Just like I mentioned before with characters, whether it's looking at pictures or going to go see the real thing, it can really empower your writing. And read poetry. I'm pretty sure poetry can apply to all of these things. Just don't get too existential. Number 3. Making it up. As a fantasy writer, I totally understand this one. You make up a species or a creature or an entire world, and you have to find a way to explain that to your reader. Man, it is fun to come up with this stuff. And now you gotta turn it into a detailed drawing so that your reader can actually see what you're trying to describe, and so that they can be immersed in your world and want to live there. I've been there before. How do you do it? Honestly, I sometimes just want my books to become movies right away, or TV shows so that they don't leave anything out, but that way I can actually see my descriptions. So I can actually see those dragon shifters and volcanic cities and elemental magical powers. Anyway, what I usually do is I just write down ideas that I have, maybe sketch out a map, and then free write certain scenes that encompass my book. If you're currently focused on the emotions of the scene, you can totally come back later to describe the scenery or the character descriptions. I've done that a lot, and it takes some time to actually like what I've written, and if you don't always like what you've written, maybe you have to give your writing to someone else, which is always a good idea. Workshop with people who know a lot more about the subject than you do. If you're writing about a real place, you can talk to people who've been there or live there as well. But when it comes to made-up locations or people, I usually consult video games like Skyrim. You don't know how much inspiration I've gained over the last few years from that game alone. I mean, it's a big game, but also Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess? Remember in Bravely Default when we found out that Ring-a-Bell was actually... But more importantly, read books on the genre you're trying to write about, and see how they approach writing about different places, people, or things. Nouns, really. Books are like food for writers. Also poetry, I guess. And those are just some of the ways you can write with expressive and beautiful imagery. I hope this helped anyone who is looking for some advice on writing, and this is just my take on the subject. There are plenty of other ways to look at this concept, and you can modify my advice however you'd like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and like and share this video to help grow our introverted writing community. Comment down below what you love about being a writer, an introvert, or even a fan of a certain fandom. I would love to start a discussion or a rant in the comment section. Me and the crickets, man, we have some really intriguing conversations. You all are missing out. Gotta be honest. Well, that's all for now, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, check out my blog, and find the writing help you need on my Fiverr account. All the links will be in the description below. And stay basic. Okay, bye!